Hi, I'm Janne from How to Enjoy Wine, and we are going to talk about Pinot Noir and food pairing. Now, if you like white wine, Pinot Noir is the red wine to start with. It can open the world of red wines to you, which is what it did to me. Now, Pinot Noir is thin-skinned, it's a bit delicate. So it buds early, which means it's susceptible to frost. It ripens early, which means if it's too warm, it doesn't grow properly to make decent wine. It's susceptible to disease, sort of mildews, rots, viruses. If you grow too many grapes on a vine, the quality plummets. And you just think, why bother? Well, you bother because it makes the most amazing wines and quite a variety of styles. It makes fantastic rosé. There's this 100% English rosé. It makes champagne, rosé champagne. And you can check out my separate video about food pairing with rosés. But it also makes a variety of styles of red wines, which is where I'm going to focus here. So what's a typical style? Well, you're talking about red fruits. You're talking about strawberries. You're talking about raspberries. You're talking about red cherry. When it ages, it gets really interesting. There you're talking about earthy flavours and mushroom and it's wonderfully complex flavours. It's thin-skinned, so it has lighter tannins than, say, something like a Cab Sauv. And it's medium-bodied, high acidity, so it can make wonderfully age-worthy wines. So then the way you make it in the winery determines the style. So you can make it lighter, you can make less tannins, you can make the fruit shine out, and then you can make it more intense. You can add oak, which gives you clove and smoke. You can age it, which brings in those earthy and mushroom tones. And what that does is make a wine that pairs wonderfully with all sorts of different types of food. So how does that work? Well, if we think of food on a scale, so you've got a one scale, you've got at one end, you've got, say, scallops or light fish, lightly cooked. You go right up to something like a steak or venison, really well cooked. And that's a scale. If you want to know more about the scale, then I've got food and wine pairing videos that you can have a look at. So where's Pinot on that scale? Well, it covers quite a considerable bit of that scale. So it can just about get into the fish. So a really well done salmon steak, for example, that's got good charring, I would bring in a lightweight, refreshing Pinot at that stage. And then as you go up, as you get to that richer, then you're looking for something that's had a bit of oak, that's been aged. And here we come into pairing up flavour characteristics. So if you've got a dish where you've got earthy beetroot, if you've got a dish that you've got cooked mushrooms and that richness, then an aged Pinot is fantastic because it mirrors those flavours. So where should I look for good Pinot? What are the areas? Now, a thing to look out for is Germany. Now, they call it Spätburgunder. So they're increasingly putting Pinot Noir on the label, which helps you identify what it is. But if you spot Spätburgunder, that's a Pinot. Now, New Zealand make fantastic Pinot Noir, absolutely wonderful. And look out for Otago, which is in the South Island, top notch. These ones are from Oregon, which are my absolute go-to at the moment. They make absolutely delicious. And this one is an old vine Pinot. And if it says old vine, that tends to say that the intensity of the flavours is going to be higher. It's going to be richer. So that's one to look out for if you're trying to pair it with foods up at this end of the scale. And finally, well, not finally really, this is a Burgundy. A red Burgundy will be made with Pinot Noir. And that can be some of the most expensive wines you can get. They are absolutely fantastic. They really know what they're doing. And something that's been aged will be that intense, rich flavours that we're talking about. We'll have seen oak as well. So you've got a real range And don't forget your rosés. I'm a great fan of Pinot Noir rosé. Lots and lots of strawberry and raspberry, light flavours, high acidity. Don't forget it in summer with a barbecue. So Pinot Noir, absolutely fantastic. If you want to know more about all things wine, check out howtoenjoywine.com.